Hello. Hi, how's it going? Oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Sure, no problem.
Well, it's great to be able to talk to you and talk about this amazing new album coming out next week with The Seven coming out through Napalm Records.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, we worked so long for this, and it's been such a long time to finally get something new out. So we are really looking forward to it next weekend. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's incredible to see. I mean, obviously, it's been quite a bit since the band has released any new material, and of course, so many changes happening within the band. You coming into the band as well, and just seeing how all of the changes in the band has really taking things to the next level and easily creating the best album that the band has done to date. I love everything that's going on here from start to finish.
Wow, thank you very much. That really means a lot. Yeah, like you said, I'm the newest member of the band. I joined them in late 2019, I guess. And the funny thing is, when I was younger, like in 14 or 15 years old, I listened to Agathodaimon as well. So now, being older and being able to play in this band I liked so much as a teenager is really amazing. And yeah, to be honest, it's my favorite record as well. But it sounds a little bit weird because I play on it. But yeah, as far from all the records, by just listening to it, I love it. I'm super happy with it.
Oh, and it's so great to see that too. I mean, with this album absolutely going to the extremes of the band and just seeing new life into the band and seeing all this great new creativity that's going on. I mean, it feels like this is the direction the band should be going in. And you know, when the more that I listen to it and the more I'm able to dissect the layers of everything that's going on, it just feels so perfect for what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and I mean but it's still like Agathodaimon, right? We have all these influences. We have this black metal thing going on, but we have never been this really true black metal thingy. Um, but we still got the heaviness and can incorporate the melodies and all this orchestral stuff going on. And I think we took the right step in the right direction. We have some records in our catalog that are far more melodic, but we feel that this is we show our strong side on this record.
Oh, for sure. And you know, especially the more that you really dig deep into the album and the more that you get to listen to the album and the tracks go on, you really start to hear a lot of the great melodic and harmonic moments that are going on throughout as well too. I mean, of course, you got that newer sense of black metal that's going on here, but you still have that great sensibility of what made the band stand out for so long. And of course, when you add more layers on top of that as well too, I mean, you get to really stretch out what the band is capable of while still getting to sound like the band.
Yeah, exactly. We have with Nakateth, we have an amazing guitar player who comes actually from a power metal background, but he still can incorporate his sense of melodies into the playing. I come from different backgrounds. I have a degree in jazz and pop music, and I try to show that as a bass player and use more than just root notes. But still, we have Satonis, who is the only original band member left. But he was still able to focus on what is Agathodaimon, but still gave everyone a chance to show off. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and I'm just gonna bring that up too. Like all of you in the band really are able to show off in different ways. I mean, whether you're playing a little bit more back so others can shine, or when you get the moments to be able to shine yourselves, or you know, as the whole collective with Agathodaimon, I mean, it really shows like what every member of the band is capable of, yet you know how to play and when not to play over the top.
Yeah, that really means a lot because we had a lot of discussions about arranging certain songs, and of course you're going to offend someone by saying, "Hey, maybe not that lead part or maybe not that solo, but we really took the time. And I mean, we had a lot of time during the pandemic, of course. So we really took the time, dissected the songs. We threw a lot of songs away because it just didn't work. So this has really been an amazing experience. Just everybody could bring to the table what they can do best and just let them do it.
So thinking about that as well, too, I mean, what was it like for you when you first started up with the band, when you were first learning the material of the past, and then when you finally started working on the new material? I mean, what was that like for you?
Yeah, that's I need to think about that one. Hang on.
Oh, sure thing.
So for my first audition, they gave me, I think it was 2 or 3 from the new songs. It was Ain't Death Grant was one of them, the one where we released our first video, and the whole set list. And it was like, yeah, just learn 2 or 3 songs, and I learned all of them. I was like, okay, let's do this. We can play a show next week. I don't care. Just give it to me. And the cool thing was that I didn't need to learn what the other bass players had played before. I was given complete freedom. Like, okay, sure, you have to play certain notes, but in terms of bass leads or melodies or licks or anything, I was given complete freedom. So I can really show how I interpret the songs. So that was really cool for me.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, when you're joining a band that you do love from the outside and you get that opportunity to be able to not only join that band, but to have that creative freedom with the past material and what you can do in the future, I just got to imagine how great of a feeling that must be.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then even the story, how I got into Agathodaimon, it was like, I think, yeah, I got Sethonis was requested as a friend on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, just send him an email. And I was like, hey, Facebook requested you as a friend, and I'm looking for a band. Do you know anyone in the genre? And he was like, yeah, actually, that's a funny thing that you mention it. I'm looking for a bass player. And so this whole thing got started. So that was really cool.
Oh, I love hearing stories like that, how it can just it can interconnect like that. And some things are just meant to be that way too. And of course, not only when something like that can happen, but you really do have that musical chemistry going on when you do have the creativity, when you're able to find a group of like-minded musicians wanting to create the music that you want to be able to create, and you're able to all have your own spins on it. That's got to be amazing.
Yeah, this is exactly what you're saying. It's creative freedom. I can completely lay back and just be like, okay, I'm only playing whole notes for tons of bars and just relax and then we have this kind of doomy vibe. Or I can play a lot more, like for example, the bass solo in the Divine. So that's not really a normal thing in black dark metal, but I was given that freedom. Just do whatever you want to do on that part. And that was really amazing for me.
And I was actually going to bring that part up as well, too. The Divine is one of my favorite tracks off the album, and it's such a perfect closer for the album as well. And just being able to hear a bass solo like that, in particular, a bass lead like that, is just, it's so cool when you don't expect something like that on the first listen, but with subsequent listens, it feels so natural.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was feeling. That was one of the first songs we got written for that record. And we had this part at the end, and it was just like droning and noise. And I was like, hey, dude, what if I do this bass tapping part over it? Just this little melody thingy. And we tried it, and it was just perfect. So, yeah, and I really love that part. We had a chance last fall, I think, to play our very first show as in this lineup. And we played that song live. And for me, as a bass player, being able to play a solo on stage is such a rarity. And then doing this tapping part, I was so freaking nervous. But everyone loved it, and the whole crowd went nuts. It was like, holy shit. Sorry.
No, not at all.
it's a bass solo and people are loving it. This must be the universe is about to collapse, right? And this was really great. Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine. And, again, just like thinking about that as well, too, like everything that we talked about. And then the first time that you're able to get on stage together with a band that you loved for so long and you're able to show yourself off. And just like you mentioned with the Divine, and, you're doing something that's so outside the norm when it comes to these styles of music. And you're able to show off like the bass tapping like that in a solo and just seeing that reaction from the crowd. I can't even imagine how great of a feeling that must have been.
Yeah, it was really great because Agathodaimon is my first really big band, and it was so weird after that concert that all the people are coming to you wanting autographs and stuff like that, and it was completely overwhelmed. And then you still had the pandemic, right? So hugging or shaking hands wasn't really a thing. So there are people coming towards you, and they're like, "Hey, that was great playing. Give me a hug." And no, please, I'm just a bass player. Just leave me. But of course, I mean, the fans are the most important thing, and I'm gladly giving autographs or stuff like that, or pictures or anything. But at first, it was like, okay, what is happening here? I'm not sure what's going on. That's really fun, yeah.
Well, I can definitely say from the fan perspective on my side that when this album comes out next week, that you're going to be feeling more than just the bass player of the band. And the fans are really going to start to notice that as well, too, with how much that you really make this band your own and what you bring into it. I mean, especially if you weren't there at that show to be able to see what you can contribute in that live setting. After this album, it's going to be even more people like that are just going to be so excited to see that you're in the band, what you're bringing to the table. And I can say that to everyone else that's a part of this lineup as well, too, because everything just fits together so very well. And hopefully when the world starts to get back to some kind of normalcy, when the pandemic can die down enough to where we can have non-restricted tours and have some kind of normalcy again, more and more people will be able to see what you can do in that live setting and just be blown away.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really means a lot to me. Thank you. We have a few shows coming up. Actually, we are going to do a release show, a small one in our hometown. And there are a few festivals, like, for example, Ragnarok Festival, but it's mainly in Germany. We have a few shows planned around Germany, but there's nothing official yet. So I don't want to do this whole announcement thing because we have no idea where COVID is going. So maybe we do a show, want to do a tour in fall, and then it gets canceled. So I just want to be happy about the few shows we are going to announce, and let's see what the future will bring.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing I've really taken away from this pandemic is just enjoying everything that's happening in the moment. I mean, there's so many things to look forward to in the future, but when you do have things that you can look forward to that's happening right now, like the show that you've gotten to play so far, the shows that will be happening with the record release show, when having an album like this, being able to do press like this, I mean, just like being able to take in those things. And of course, there's so many things that can get derailed and not happen. But when something good does happen, like what's going on with the band right now and being able to release the 7, just really starting to appreciate those things even more than you thought you could.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. That's every show or every interaction with a fan or on doing a concert or anything. It's just so amazing. It's always overwhelming. And but it's not so hard anymore if a show gets canceled, but because you can adapt, okay, show gets canceled, but let's use this day for a rehearsal, or let's use this day for doing promo or whatever. It's just you don't get so frustrated anymore. So I think that's a good thing.
Oh, very much so. So thinking about your backstory with your playing, of course, you mentioned that you grew up and of course joining bands like this, but also being able to play outside of this as well too, in the jazz genres, the pop genres. I mean, what is that like for you to be able to adapt to all those different kinds of genre playing and being able to like really take advantage of everything you can do on the bass?
Yeah. I like to quote Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse here. He did a DVD a while ago where he was saying, everything I learn I can use in Cannibal Corpse. And that got me really inspired back then, because I know all this jazz stuff and all these scales and all that stuff. But I can really bring that to to the music of my heart, which is metal, obviously. So that's a really cool thing. But it's also a lot of fun playing jazz shows or pop shows, because your mindset is completely different. When you do a metal show, you're going on stage, you have a show. Yeah, like you get dressed up, or you are in a completely different zone. And doing jazz shows, it's more like, it's so hard to describe. There's a lot more goofing around on stage, as for example, as in a black metal band. Yeah, in a black metal band, it's not really funny. Maybe it's funny from the outside, seeing adults painting themselves black and white, but it's more of a theater thing for me, at least. So jazz is a little bit more. You have to be more aware. There's not this, okay, I can get drunk and go on stage and see what happens. At least not for me. I can't do that. And yeah, then I do cover bands and stuff like that, which as well, it just teaches me how to learn stuff, learn new techniques or whatever. I play in a band where we only do Deep Purple songs, and that helped me so much in improvising over rock tunes, you know. And that is stuff I can use in Agathodaimon or anywhere else as well.
And it's so great to see that too. And, you know, just being able to adapt to all those situations and constantly learning as well too. I mean, I always find that so important with being a musician, is to consistently always learning about different things. Even if something seems so simple from the outside, like doing a pop show, and then you realize like how intricate things can really be with whether it's a stage show or learning the songs, knowing when to start, knowing when to stop. I mean, there's so many things that can go into it. And then you look at a black metal show, like you mentioned, and, you know, that can be such a very different situation, but you can adapt different things to that. And the fact that you can take an Alex Webster quote like that and you're able to really help that define who you are is so cool.
Yeah, and to be honest, Agathodaimon is one, when I listened to them as a teenager, the first song I listened to was Serpent's Embrace. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and this was a black metal song with a heavy emphasis on this keyboard line. And I was like, hey, that sounds really cool. And all my friends who were like this really black metal grim lords were like, no, that's not music. And I was like, yeah, it is. I like it. So it has to be good, right? And that really opened my mind in terms of, there's a difference between music I like and music that is bad. Know what I'm saying? When it really just opened my mind to I don't care what other people say, what music is good. When I like it, it's good. And if you don't like it, then I don't care. Yeah, then don't listen to it. I don't gatekeep or do stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And that was the word I was going to be using too. It's just like, I'm so against gatekeeping so much, because you can appreciate music in any different style, and there's good music in every genre that's out there. There's going to be stuff that you're not going to enjoy in any genre as well, but, you know, it's all about what personally interests you, and the fact that you can appreciate all these different styles. And, you know, just like you mentioned there, you know, the fact that a black metal song can feature the keyboards the way that it does, and, you know, some people are just going to hate it, but you love it, shows that music and art in general can just mean so much to different people.
Yeah, and it's just so much music out there. I mean, with all the Spotify and Deezer and stuff going on, there's so much music to explore nowadays. And then just cutting off half of the artists by saying, no, they're using keyboards. It's just stupid, in my opinion, because you really miss out on so much good stuff.
It's so true. And, you know, especially in black metal, especially what's been going on since the 90s when, like more experimentation started happening in black metal and keyboards were more accepted. I mean, there's so many seminal bands, like this band included, that if they didn't include keyboards, that black metal might not be the way that it is now in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, just listen to the first Emperor record. Yeah, everyone will say, yeah, Emperor, the first record is true, but it's still emphasis on keyboards. And of course, I like other bands as well, where it's only blast beats and screaming for 9 minutes straight or whatever. But when a good keyboard hook comes on, I'm in.
Oh, totally. And I'm the same way too. And I'm all about being able to, I mean, there's some bands that when they want to stick to just the one core sound of what they want to be, that can totally work as well.
Yeah.
And there's bands that I love doing that. But when a band is not afraid to experiment and, just like stretch themselves out to see like what can fit and what is not going to work. It's just like when you do that experimentation, and sometimes it takes the keyboard, sometimes it takes genre bending in something like black metal. And, just like you can really get that creativity flowing. You can see how much energy is left in the band and, just how much more can really be explored as a musician.
Yeah, exactly. And for example, from the Seven, the song "Mother of All Gods."
Oh, yes.
Is basically it was written with between Saturnus and Vlad Dracul from who was the singer of the very first Agathodaimon record from Black and the Angel, and they collaborated on that song. And actually, it was I hope I don't get the story wrong. Saturnus had a demo for that song, and Vlad had an electro project or something, and they combined these two elements, and out came Mother of All Gods. So there you have it. You can mix electronic ideas with black metal, and it works. And this is by far one of my favorite songs of that record. And it's from the guitar perspective, it's so simple, but it works so much.
And it feels so heavy at the same time too.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that simplicity of what's going on in some areas of the band are so important because it can help focus on other areas of the band. And that's why I love the fact that like no one truly shines on this album, because all of you shine on this album in different areas.
Thank you very much. That's
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that. And, when you can have a song like that where it can focus on something different, where the rest of you guys might be scaling back on what's going on, but it emphasizes that part and you're able to show yourselves off in different areas and different songs. And, the fact that you trust each other with that too, that he's giving you all this creative freedom to be able to do what you want to do on the bass, and I imagine with the drums and the guitars and everything else that's going into the band, just having that trust and freedom to be able to show who you want to be and make the best music possible.
Yeah, and in the end, it's about the music, right? It's not about how awesome I play or how awesome Ashtrail sings or whatever. In the end, the song counts. So it doesn't matter how much I want to show off. If the song sucks because of it, then that's not good. So in the end, the song has to be good. And we all have to reflect on our playing and have to be honest about our playing and just say, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't do the slap tap, whatever lick, and just play a root note. And that is what it's all about.
Was there any moments like that on the album where you had to do that for yourself specifically? Like, just like being able to scale back and play the roots or show yourself off a little bit more? Was there anything specific like that?
Let me think. There was I'm just running through the songs in my head. There is that one part in Ghosts of Greed where Saturnus is doing the clean vocal stuff, and there were only root notes. But during recording, I was like, man, I could fill it up here. I could do some lick here, and it's a little line. It's just some arpeggios, but it really emphasizes his singing. But I wanted to actually do a lot more notes and go completely nuts. But then got feedback from the rest of the band. They were like, yeah, this sounds amazing, but there's still the vocal line. And this is more important to the song. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe you're right. But let's do it easier. I'm good. Yeah.
It's amazing how that can work too. I mean, when you think about something like that, where when you do scale it back, it can really emphasize everything so much more. And of course, just like how the vocal lines are so important when it comes to a band like this, and so many bands that feature the vocals, like you don't want everything to overshine it, but sometimes just being able to come up with a part that just like emphasizes the vocal parts, and whether you're just doing a little bass fill or the arpeggios or going completely bonkers, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can adapt to it. And the fact that you can learn from the band and know that maybe you could scale back, and other parts that you're able to go a little bit more crazy on, like what is shown on the album. Again, just that freedom to be able to know what to play, what not to play, it just shines throughout the album that way.
Yeah, it's like we started, it's creative freedom with lots of feedback. I mean, we are brutally honest with each other in the rehearsal or during the recordings, and we often told each other, do this, do that, and then the other one saying yes or no. And that's really helpful. That's something you don't have a lot in other bands, especially from a bass player's perspective. You always get told, just play root notes and shut up. But having this freedom is just amazing, like I said.
Oh, yeah. And, touching on that again, it's just like, it's so great that you have members of the band that like care enough about the music, that where you can build that thick skin that's going on and not feel like it's hurting you to have to change anything, that you're just thinking about the music and you're thinking about everyone else in the band and you're wanting to make the best music possible. So just being able to get those different insights into what's going to work, what's not going to work, but still getting to be yourself.
Yeah. And to be honest, it was really hard during the pandemic because we couldn't rehearse that much as we wanted to. So a lot of that stuff was via Zoom or Skype or whatever. So we had a lot of band meetings going back and forth. Our WhatsApp messages were like, holy, it was like, dude, on that part on 0:31 seconds, what notes are you playing? Don't play them. And and then, I don't know, there were like short snippets of videos going around where we had to figure out what the hell is he playing? Okay, maybe do it this way and all this kind of stuff. Sorry. So, it was tough, but we did it, when we are really proud of the product that actually came out. And not only with the music, I think we have amazing visuals as well on the record. Working with Credo Cuya Absurdum from Portugal. Do you know them?
Oh, yes.
And we love their artwork. And Satanis met them, I think, in 2018 on a festival. And they started talking about doing something together. And the actual idea was only to do the cover artwork. But it turned out so good that we came up with the idea to do artwork for every song. And if you follow our Instagram feed, which you probably do, you can see an explanation for each picture and a short snippet for every song, what it's about and everything.
And, I was going to bring that up as well, too. I mean, I love the fact that so much detail really goes into that. And of course, with the album cover in and of itself, just looks absolutely incredible. I love the colors. I love the detail that's going into it. But the fact that you guys decided to make that into the full album with every single song getting some kind of visual representation like that with some amazing artwork, I love that attention to detail.
Yeah, for me, it reminded me again on the teenager times. When you went to the store, got a CD, and just, I don't know, throw the CD in the player and got the booklet out and read all the lyrics and enjoyed the artwork, or even earlier with the vinyls and stuff, and you have these huge artworks. And I think in recent years it kind of got lost. So most booklets I have, at least, are pretty bland. So we just wanted to get that back and have something to look at while listening to the music.
Yeah, and you said it's true that a lot of bands have just like really scaled back on that, when it's always been one of my favorite things to be able to look through the booklets, go into a record store and being able to check out like the full vinyl size album covers and the back covers, and just seeing like all the colors that are being used, all the detail that goes into it. And it kind of gives you an idea of what you're about to expect. And then when you put it on, it just like, it can really help emphasize all of the music as well. And the fact that it is become a much of a lost art thanks to the digital age, and so many artworks just becoming a thumbnail rather than the full scale vinyl size, it can be lost. But the fact that you still care about that in the band, I love that.
Yeah, it's like you say. When I think about it, a lot of records covers are just a color, and if the artist wants to do that, I'm good. It's not my record, it's not my decision. But for us, it just makes a whole lot of more sense. And black metal has always been a visual music. When you all the corpse paint stuff and the I don't know the word, all the bracelets and everything, yeah. It has a visual appeal, and then just dial it back and doing a simple artwork, I don't know, I think it's not fitting for a band like us.
Oh yeah, and like, it's just like it maybe it could have worked, but I love this approach so much more, and getting every single song to have that attention to detail and just the overall package of the album. And I just love seeing that happening. And with that, I love seeing everything that's going on with the band right now. I love the fact that this album is coming out next week, that you guys are on such a great label like Napalm Records, the fact that you're getting to do a record release show in these trying times, and hopefully things leading into the future, hopefully happening with the best of intentions as well. And just having a solid album like this. I mean, again, with a band that you love and appreciated for so long, now you get to be a part of it. You get to put your own spin onto it, and easily creating the best album from the band so far with the 7. And I just love everything that's going on here. And just being able to talk to you about all of this has just been incredible. And I thank you for your time to be able to do this.
Thank you for having me. This is one of my first interviews ever internationally. So I'm so nervous, and I hope you can use any of the stuff anything I said. Yeah, it really was a pleasure. But I have a question for you too.
Oh, sure thing.
So, what's your favorite song so far?
I am it's very much between either Mother of All Gods and The Divine. Those are the two that are really sticking out to me the most.
So the orchestral ones, the longer ones.
Yes. Being a progressive fan, like one of my favorite genres, I love it when a band can go a bit longer and like really show off more. And sometimes it can be simple. Sometimes it can be very complex, but I do love longer songs. And, just the fact that you guys do have that along with the shorter songs as well, too, which just fit into this great package. I just love what's going on.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. Like I said, The Divine was one of the first songs we did, and we loved it from the first minute. And I think Mother was the last song we actually did. And there were a lot of arrangement going on during recording. So it really turned out well. And I'm glad you said it. I'm a huge progressive fan as well. And yeah, that means a lot to me. Thank you very much.